Okay, after you're done watching this, you're going to want to come up to me and get an assigned square for the final image. You'll just be doing a portion of it. Piece of square paper, a rectangle paper, this is for testing your colors. You're also going to need a ruler, a pencil, watercolor tray. They all have about the same colors in them. A cup of clean water, and I would pick up a small paintbrush from the jar of paintbrushes over there. So to start, you need to divide your square into equal spaces. So the spacing on this is 1.5 inches apart. So if you use the metal ruler, you can line up the end to the metal ruler, and you're just going to go at 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 3 inches, and 4.5 inches. And you're going to want to do that all around your square. Okay, so all 4 sides you should do that. Again, it's at 1.5 inches, 3 inches, and 4.5. And let's make those little tick marks. The reason why you're doing that is you can line up those tick marks with your ruler, and your spacing should be even and your lines will be straight. Now, this initial drawing should be really light, so I didn't add any pressure to my pencil. I just drug it across the page with no pressure at all whatsoever. Okay, so each one of those squares represents a square of your image. Before we go on, I should also tell you, please write down your image number on the back of your square, and then what image I tell you it's from, and your name and period. Okay, the next step, again, is you're just going to transfer these lines over square by square. Now, I've already done this as best as I could, quickly, to this one, right? You can make modifications to your lines, but it needs to be done light, okay? And so you copy in the lines and the shapes that are there. Now, you don't need to shade this in because we're going to be painting them. Next step is over each square, you're going to draw a series of shapes. So they can all be the same, they can all be different. Again, that's up to you. The only requirement I have is that they are at least 3 layers deep. That means you need to draw in at least 2 different shapes. You can do more. So I got 1 color I'm going to put there, 2nd color here, 3rd color in the background. So they have to be able to contain 3 colors. You do that over the lines that you drew. Okay? So each square is going to get its own shape. And you just draw it over the lines that make up the image. You can repeat things. Again, that's all up to you. Once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and start watercoloring. This is why I have like that test strip. The instructions for this are use multiple colors, use more than 2, use more than 3, use all of them that are in your palette, mix them. Don't just do 2 colors or 3 colors, it'll ruin the whole entire image. So do as many as you want, preferably a lot. Okay? Now, where it's darker on this image, the darker values are going to go of the color within your shape. So since I don't have one here, I'll hurry and put one in. Where it's lighter, the lighter values are going to go. So I'm going to do this square part of it right here. So let's say I decide to use green. For the lighter values, I'll pick up some green from my paint. I can test it there, and I want it to be super, super, super light. Okay, so on my test strip, I'll just do this. It's like that's looking light. If I add more water, I can even make it lighter. That might be better, okay? So on my lighter area of that square, which happens to be this one up here, I'm going to paint in the lighter value. Okay, so now depending on your image, you might have more light values, you might have more dark values. Everybody's is going to be just a little bit different. But I'm going to end it at that line. My dark values are going to be over there, and it goes through the center of my triangle, okay, which is going to be a different color. So I'm going to pick a different color for the center. So I'm going to do, I don't know, I'll do this blue. And again, I can test it before I paint if I want to make sure it's light enough. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water. That's super light, that'll work. And that one just goes right here on the inside. Now, I have to work in stages. While this paint is drying, I can't go in and paint here because it will bleed into that edge. I can't go paint here because it will bleed into there. So I do have to wait until it's dry. So while it's drying, I'm going to go and maybe look at one that's further away. So this square up here is all light values. I'm going to go back, pick up some of the same green I used before. Okay, and this time I'll go ahead and put that one in the center. And this whole square is white, so all the values in here will be white. I got that one there. I'm going to go ahead, I guess I'll use yellow. Okay, you don't have to work in a color scheme. Kind of got this grayed out yellow going. But I can't put it in the square, I've got to put it right here because that circle's still really wet. Watercolor does dry pretty fast, but also depends how much water you have on your brush. So don't have it be super drippy. Okay, I'll come back over here. It's still pretty wet. So I can check for maybe another area of light value. I'm going to add yellow right there. This way I don't have to go back and, I don't know, mix up more paint. And in this shape, it's this area right here. Now I want to be able to see the color. I don't know if the camera's picking it up very well. Now people have asked, can I go in and erase the lines that are there? No. Okay? You need to leave the lines mainly because the paint also seals them in, so it's not going to work. Okay, so I'm hoping this other side's a little bit drier so I can show you. So I want to do the dark part of the green area. So you can see how much darker that is than anything else I put up there. So that's perfect. So since the green was in my background area or shape, like over here, I got to paint it over here, but only in the area that's dark on my original painting. Okay. Inside of the triangle is dark blue because the other side on the other area is light blue, so I'm going to go get some dark blue. Again, I can test my color first, make sure it's going to be dark enough. You make the colors darker by not adding a lot of water. Oh, and that's what happens when you don't wait for it to dry. So if that happens, you're going to have to get the paint out. So I just dried off my brush really good, and I'm attempting to lift some of this out. Which you can see isn't working out very well. So make sure, there we go, that your colors are all dry before you put the color next to it. Even if it's all the light colors, I go in and put light blue there. Right now it's still shiny, I can see the paper's still wet. It's going to bleed and pull those colors in. Okay. So that's about as good as I'm going to be able to get that one. Hopefully you appreciated my mistake. So I'm going to go through all of it and continue to paint until I'm finished. Again, using a variety of colors all over the whole entire piece. Make sure you use enough contrast between the shapes. Just to go back over that, got this shape here, this one here, right? This dark shape runs through the shapes I've drawn. So in here, if I was going to use orange, this would be dark orange. The light side would be light orange, dark orange, light orange, dark orange, light orange. Say inside here I want to make it blue. This would be dark blue. That dark shape ends right here. This would be light blue. And this shape right here, maybe I could do dark purple, okay, because it's inside right here. And this is the shape I drew over the top. Thanks for watching this. If you have any questions, you can come up and ask me, but please make sure you watch this. You can go back and reference it. Good luck.